and venture wear business called Trail Dogs. What does the Trail Dogs mean to each of us?
Life begins at the end of your comfort zone.
It's an excuse to not have an excuse.
I feel like we can be the entry level to adventure.
No one comes in here with all the answers.
Let's start.
Well,
What are we doing here?
I think, the whole idea behind this, wasn't it, just so we can put our kind of thoughts and how we're going with, starting our own business and taking those steps to move forward and obviously just put some words into the madness of whatever the fuck we end up doing.
Yeah. To look back and reflect.
Yeah, exactly. To have something to go back on and obviously so we can show the world what we're planning on doing and where we want to go and what we're about and how we can move forward.
Hattie asked me a very good question when I told her we were going to do this.
Yeah.
She said, why would anyone want to listen to you guys talk about this? Which I now have an answer for, but I'd be curious to know what you guys would say to that.
I think that people love watching other people be vulnerable and fuck up. And there is about an 85% chance that I will fuck up on this podcast today. So, yeah. So if you want to have a good laugh, you may be in a chance. And then also people love vulnerability. And I think that's something that we're doing. And I think something that, especially when you talk about what we're looking at doing as well, like trail running and pushing yourself to the extreme, you do become very vulnerable and you're putting yourself out there. So why not start from the start and put up what we're talking about? And I think that's what we're doing.
You're on fire already.
I know.
Mate.
Yeah.
I think it also comes from the standpoint that people like understanding like the relatability to where their product's coming from is a big thing. It's like you see these mass marketing companies, you just go on their website, click on it, it's more personal.
True.
Absolutely.
It's like we're just three blokes that like running.
Yeah, and like going on adventures.
Yeah.
And having a couple beers and I think as well as something awfully simplistic about this idea as well. You get out there and you give it a crack, and then whether you succeed or you fail, you have a laugh and you have a couple of cold ones to enjoy the moment. And I think that sums it up pretty well. And I think, yeah.
Agreed. And literally, I agree exactly what both of you just said. I didn't have this answer when she asked me. I wish I did. I do now, though. I think I've never started a business before. I've never started a active running, adventure wear business before. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. But I've also never seen someone who has done that from the start in the moment, like capture that process and be able to watch it. Like, I'd love right now to be able to go watch like this. I'm sure there's stuff out there, but like watch something from literally the first meeting they've ever had, which is what we did just now.
Yeah, 100%.
From the very, very, not look back in retrospect after they've killed it. Like, I read the Nike book. I love that one. It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
But it's looking back after 50 years,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll do that. But looking back after 2 weeks, like...
Yeah, but sitting down
we're in it. We're in it.
and shooting shit over over Messenger and stuff like that. 100%.
Which leads to my next question, which we haven't even said it yet, but the reason we're here right now is because we want to start an adventure wear business called Trail Dogs. So what does the Trail Dogs mean to each of us is what I'm curious about. I can go first if you guys like.
Yeah, if you want to
go
take
first.
away.
I have to go first. Trail Dogs for me is, and we talked about this before, it's more than just a running shirt.
Yeah.
So for me, how I've understood so far, what's inspired me about it is it's actually a belief or an idea of just getting outside in the outdoors and challenging yourself. And I know I've said it to you guys already, like for me, it's the shirt that you put on to then feel like a superhero and go and tick shit off your bucket list. And that's why it's more than just a shirt for me. And there's so much other stuff, but if I try like in its essence, what's excited me about it, that's me.
100%. Oh. Do you want me to go?
I'm happy to go.
Yeah.
I think it does come back to that concept that we literally came up with 20 minutes ago at our first meeting.
Yeah.
Which was more than a running shirt. It speaks for itself. It's pretty straightforward, and the fact that Trail Dogs is a thing where you can, whether it's you going down to the pubs and making memories with people there, getting out of your comfort zone, talking to someone new, or even just putting your hand up and smashing yourself outdoors, whether you're going for an ultra after only running a half mara, whether it's going for your first ever 5K run. Hopefully the branding that Trail Dogs brings gives you a bit of passion and mongrel to actually go out and smash it out.
100%.
Mongrel's a good word for it.
I
If
like
mongrel was an animal, that you know, did you ask before? If
Yeah.
it wasn't a dog, what would the animal be? If mongrel was an animal, that's the animal.
I like it.
Sorry, that's good.
No,
It's
it's
on
good.
rebranding.
Trail mongrels.
Bit of mongrel.
Mongrel
about
dogs.
it. Bit of mongrel about it. No, it's good. I mean, I think for me, just thinking about it like right now, and this is not have any. This is off the cuff. It's an excuse to not have an excuse. Is when I look at this and what we're doing right now. You know, we've put ourselves into a vulnerable position. We're going to go out there and put ourselves out there, just like what you do when you want to go out and start exercising, whether it be in the gym, or running, or playing a sport or something like that. You put yourself out there to fail, and you put yourself out there to have a chance for someone to laugh at you. Not that saying that ever happens, but you are putting yourself into a vulnerable position. And then for us to do this, it's now given us an excuse to not have any excuses. We're going out here, we're going to give it a crack. And it's going to open so many doors. And if I can do this, then why can't I go do that? I mean, why can't I do that? So it's an excuse to not have an excuse.
I think it's incredible what the human body can do.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty wild. You watch people literally just get out of bed and run 100 Ks. It's like pretty psycho. There's that quote that always goes back that sticks with me is that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And if you're not striving to do that, then what's the point of rolling out of bed in the morning?
Agreed. And if putting a Trail Dog shirt on is what gets you across that line out of the comfort zone to do something different, then that's the vessel to get you there. That's all it has to be.
Yeah.
Um,
If we can provide you with an idea or a lifestyle that you aspire to, and even if you just by associating with the brand feel like you're achieving that, then that's exactly what we want.
Which, to be honest, is what I've got so far. I think even just talking about it with you guys, out of doing it together, like rather than just as like solo, I love the idea of this being a community of people. It's you're not just buying a shirt, you're like buying into this group of people who are trying to egg each other on to do cool stuff. Yeah. And not like the old school egg each other on to do dumb shit. Maybe sometimes to be dumb, but at the end of the day, it's still pushing yourself to do something amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like having the group around you to do that, you feel like empowered, you feel excited versus like, yes, people do it solo, but it's way harder.
Yeah, go out and surprise yourself.
And surprise people around you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to remember.
I just realised this could be relevant, just maybe like a quick minute on where Trail Dogs actually started.
Yeah.
Because obviously like we've had this like only 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean?
Oh, but it's been lingering for
It's been lingering
a
for
year.
me, hey. Because I was going to say at least 12 months, so we were living... Do you remember when we started?
Yeah, I do remember.
You got one of the OG shirts, don't you? So we were
wearing
living
it today.
Yeah, exactly. So we were living together, and we went. I don't remember if it was with Josh or us or.
It was with Josh.
Yeah.
When we ran with the shirts on.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think what led us to getting them made.
Probably Northy, going up to North Head.
True, running. So we live in Manly. Running in North Head.
North Head is my
child. It's the home ground. It's the home ground. And we were running around and I think it was as simple as we were running in the bush as a group, like having fun.
I think someone
and someone just went, someone just gone, oh!
Probably you.
It probably was me.
It does sound like you.
And then we just gone Trail Dogs. We started firing off Trail Dog nicknames.
Maybe it was even
dog nicknames.
Maybe it was even us running through North Head and seeing someone in front of us and just being like,
yeah, you know what?
I am going to eat you up.
We're hunting you down. But as a group, yeah, that's what started. And then we like jokingly got these shirts made up, which were like the worst fabric, like heavy, sweaty, pretty funny, like really basic
3 times
pattern.
too big.
Like quite layer. We had the pavement pussies underneath.
We'll add some photos in so everyone
Well, yeah,
can see.
true. We've got all those still.
Yeah.
And then that was like a year ago. We just did that for fun. We got like probably 10, 12 shirts made. We paid for the 3 and the rest. We just flogged the rest to our mates.
Mm.
And then didn't
Yeah.
do anything about it for a year until it came up again a few weeks ago. And here we are.
And here we are. And we've already discussing how we're going to bloody take over the world.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy where your mind goes when you look at all this stuff. I mean, something I look forward to when I look at something like this is all the hard work we're going to do. I mean, because it's all good to be caught up in this idea of, oh, yeah, it's going to be all fine and dandy and this is going to replace my 9-to-5 income and I'll be able to put my feet up and just, you know, lie on a beach in Mexico drinking margaritas. But, like, the fact of the matter is, it's, like, so far from the truth. It's just, like, the bigger it gets, the harder it's going to be. And almost revel in the fact that that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just something you can be so proud of, you know, putting your heart and soul into something. True. And it coming out the other side and it working and changing not only your own life, but people buying into your ideas as well and coming along for the ride. And I think that's what's really exciting for me is just knowing it's going to be tough and just looking at the challenge and, like you boys say, just wanting to eat it up. I think that's
Agreed.
Super good thing to think about.
Yeah. If we're talking, you know, capturing the process, starting a business. I know I haven't done it before. I don't think you have. You've got some experience, even though it's fresh. Yeah. What have we, like, for people who might listen to this? 2 weeks ago, we were like literally just in an Instagram message chat. We're like, let's do this. 2 weeks later, we're here recording a podcast about starting a business. What have we done so far? What have we done so far?
Not much planning. I think today was really good for us to set out our parameters and figure out a timeline, what we want to do, and how we're going to get there. I think that's something that, you know, can sometimes, you know, fall to a wayside. People have an idea. They're like, I really want to start a business, you know, doing this. And you go, okay, well, when are you starting? And they go, like, oh, you know, there's always an excuse.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you set up a plan,
I relate to that.
You set up a timeline, and you believe in yourself, or you believe in the idea you have, that's how you get going. I think that's something that, you know, heaps of people talk about starting in businesses, start group chats. You know, it might be 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning and you have a ripper idea, but it will never come to fruition unless you follow up and you're consistent.
Yeah. And I guess some of the stuff we've done, like what we've got samples of shirts on the way from China, from a supplier. We put an order in this afternoon for 500 stubby holders.
Super exciting.
What else have we done? We've done a few things. We locked in some accounts.
Refining design.
Designs. Absolutely. Logo. Logo options.
Logo
Thanks,
options.
Shant. We'll reward you for that.
Social media platforms.
We've locked in accounts.
Yeah.
ABN, not ABN.
Domain names.
TikTok dances.
TikTok. You're on TikTok. You're a social man.
We should actually do some TikToks tonight. That could be pretty funny.
Could be fun.
I don't know how to dance.
We've got like a whole bunch of docs set up, like financials. That's just me being a control freak, organizer freak. But ideas board. Shit you do in a trail dog shirt. We should talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think some of the stuff that like obviously we're big dreamers. Like we all sit here.
Yeah, nice.
All three of us are just, you know, we think 1,000 years ahead of where we actually are now. And I think it's really powerful to get to where we are now. And, you know, I think we've done so much in the past 2 weeks, and I think it's well beyond just something you're talking about. And, you know, there's a lot of people I speak to that want to start a business and have considered starting a business. What I love about it is we haven't had an excuse yet.
Yes. Agreed.
We haven't had an excuse to why not. It's always just been a why and how and how can we. It's not. It's never been a we should.
Yeah.
It's been a how can.
How can.
And I really like that. I like that as a mantra.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
It's good.
Shit, I want to bring it back to shit you want to do in a trail dog shirt. Because I think it's a cool list. What's your number one at the moment? I know you're going to have struggle picking one because you got 100. But if you was, what's your number? Because I'm building a list, but what's your number one thing that you want to do in a trail dog shirt at the moment?
Jeez. I haven't thought too hard about it.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing I really, really want to do, and this massive bucket list, and it's really a flavour of a month, but I'm big on that. Like, I've got some crazy idea I want to do every second week. But me, yeah, dude, 100%. My brain just goes too fast. I can't keep up with it. I want to do the Marathon des Stables in the Sahara, Moroccan desert. 6 days, 250 kilometres, just nuts. 40-degree desert heat. Just the craziest thing you could ever think of. And I would also love to go to Everest Base Camp in Trail Dog Show.
Oh shit. I haven't told you this yet. It's actually pronounced Marathon des Sables.
Marathon des Sables. It's alright, mate. There's only so much you can pick up from tomato. I just thought it was always French guys talking to the YouTube videos I've been watching. You should have told me that before we did.
I'm happy to go if you're still thinking. I've got obviously a lot of ideas, a lot of cool ones like that as well. Yeah. But my first one's quite simple. I think I just want to go skydiving in a trail dog shirt.
That popped into my mind for sure.
Yeah,
I'd
shit myself, but I've wanted to do it for a while. So.
Have you been skydiving before?
No, it's on my list.
It was on my list.
I was supposed to do it before I turned 25.
I was meant to do it before I turned 25.
We should do it together before the end of the year. There you go.
If you're like skydiving, you can't leave me out.
Yeah, maybe that's what we do. We could use the sample shirts.
Yeah. I just booked that in.
I'll buy it for Christmas present for each of us.
Redballoon.com.au.
Content creation.
If you want to look after us, Red Balloon, give us a shout. We'd love a free skydiving session. That might be pushing the limit with 0 subscribers.
We'll throw them a free stubby.
Yeah, 100%. That should work.
Nice. We should do that. That's a good question we can keep asking.
Skydiving's cool.
Yeah, I was talking about the other day with a mate. Apparently it's...
Yeah.
Just a camera crew. We hired a camera crew.
Yeah. The lighting man. I tilt the spotlight down.
Last thing I thought would be a fun way to end.
Yeah.
For each of us.
Oh, where was my bucket list thing, bro?
Oh, I thought you were just agreeing on Sky.
No,
I was gonna actually ask you, then you sip your beer and I thought you were done.
No.
What's your thing then?
I think up there is something that always flashes back to mind is UTMB.
You want to tell the listeners what UTMB is?
It's Ultra Trails du Mont Blanc, which is like probably the biggest,
I reckon the most famous.
Famous trail running ultra in the world. Yeah. You run through 3 countries, some fucked amount of elevation.
What's the town called?
2 days. Chamonix,
yeah.
Chamonix. How far is it?
It's 100 miles.
100 and... No, it's just over. It's like 171 Ks or something.
Oh, wow.
And like insane elevation. Yeah. It's pretty much like the pinnacle of
you
trail running.
You run Mont Blanc pretty much, yeah. And
so
you have to run... You're running 3 ultras to qualify.
Yeah.
You got to qualify through points.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you don't even get straight in. You qualify on points that you get put in a ballot.
For the ballot. So you have to run at least 300 miles.
Yeah, and then if you don't get in the ballot, then you have to do the qualification again, but then your chances in the ballot increase each time you do it.
I'd love to run it, but I'd love to crew you to run it.
I'd love to crew anyone.
Anyone to run it, yeah.
That's why I was watching that video of, what is it? Was that Nick Barr video?
Oh,
was he running the...
Yeah. I know what you mean.
The 100K.
Yeah. UTMB is pretty sick goal.
Yeah, that is cool. Are there any 100-mile races in Australia?
Yeah, heaps.
This is the one.
There's one happening next weekend.
Paced.
GNW. It's next weekend.
GNW.
Or this could be this weekend.
Where
It's
is it?
Central Coast.
Oh, really?
You run up
Should we go?
you run like Blue Mountains up to Patonga,
They just released the
Gee.
It's like the Great Eastern. That's not the name, but I'll think of it.
and you only get a pacer after.
There's a new one in the
100
Blue
Ks
Mountains that's a
for the last
200.
60 Ks.
No, 300.
Just
There's a
make sure
new
you
one in
got-
the Blue Mountains, like a 250 or something. There's
Nice.
heaps. There's heaps.
Okay, cool.
Um,
So I just thought they were all overseas, and that's why I've got.
well, it's
these
still.
creative
I think it's
plans.
still fairly. It's not new here. There's people who are like goats that have done it forever, but it's not mainstream yet. And not that it's ever or should or will be, but I think there's a place for people who are getting into running that want to get into running in the bush without having to be like this niche thing. And maybe a trail dog shirt could be an intro to that.
I really like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's? I said this to someone the other day. I didn't think about it. I'm so glad you bought these beers. Like how James Squire's 150 Lashes became like the entry level pale ale. You know, when you start drinking and obviously there's like all kind of weirdo beers everywhere now. But
Shout out.
shout out to them all. But this is not
Sponsors,
sponsored, but we happily take it. That's like your entry level pale ale. Like
Yeah.
when people, I don't know, turn 18 and move from like a TED
That's
or
it,
whatever.
yeah.
You go to that. I feel like we can be the entry level to adventure.
I love that. That's a snippet.
It's good. That's not bad.
Entry level to
That's got in the
adventure.
intro.
That is.
We've had a few.
sick.
We've had a few good
Write it down.
excuses. No, it's recorded. It's recorded. The excuses, no excuses. You said a good one as well. We've got a few.
Yeah.
This is just marketing planning.
This is awesome.
Apologies for skipping your dream. The last one I was going to say for the experience so far. Well, like let's say the last 2 weeks, because otherwise, I think from now maybe we'll do this weekly. Highlight a challenge, and then what's next up for you. I can go first because I know you guys haven't had any prep for this. I thought about it when I wrote it down. Highlight, challenge, and what's next up? What's the next step that you want to take? My highlight so far was when I got send the logos back by Nishant again. Shout out! I literally had a little. I haven't done this ever. Had a little. I was working at home. Like literally danced on the spot for a second. Like oh, so excited. Made it like my background.
Yeah.
Easily highlight. Challenge I think for me is to be really honest and like being true to what you said about vulnerable. I think I'm struggling with, like, I love my job and what I do for work already. And I think I'm struggling with honouring that and the commitment that I have there and the belief in the people that I really respect. And also giving this the time of day and the light of day that I'm excited about. So that's going to be an ongoing thing to figure out. But for now, it's like, yeah, this is my side thing that I'm really excited about. And I've still got my main job that I'm, employed to do and have responsibility to do, but that's a challenge. Next up for me is just getting the shirts and testing them. Can't wait. They'll be here next week, the samples.
100%. I think highlight for me has definitely been tonight. Just sitting down and just getting everything planned and talking about it and just have my mind go. Like, just you just see it. Like, man, it's just... Oh, I'm so excited to be involved in something like this. And like what Haz says as well with being a low light, and the hard part about it is trying to find, like, you find these things you're so passionate about. I had another business as well. And the hardest thing I always find is when you have a baby and then you have a job that you do and you're employed to do, is you're always going to pick your baby. And I think what I really struggle with, especially with, jobs I've been employed to do, I still am employed to do, is, having to realise that, this isn't going to happen overnight. That one thing you feel like you need to do today because it's, you're excited about it, and in reality it's just procrastination for your real job. And it's an excuse. But saying that, it's also the best thing ever, because when you're having those down days, you're having the tough days at your paid job, and you look at stuff like this, and I look at the stuff I'm doing with my other business as well, and it just makes me so excited and just excited to make a change in not only our lives, but I think a lot of other people's as well, which is good.
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
I think highlight is the same as Giles's tonight.
That's good.
Has spurred a lot of motivation in me. I mean,
Run through a brick wall.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, let me run it straight. I tell you what. No, the amount of work you get done with 3 people in a room is pretty.
It's good, isn't it?
pretty wild.
It's good.
I mean, and I never had the grasp of it because it was always just messages in a group chat whilst I'm frothing lattes all day. Like, can't respond, like, can't help out
True.
anywhere. It's like,
True.
and then I think that swings into the whole challenges thing, especially in the last 2 weeks. It's like seeing all these messages, getting excited, and then being like, oh,
Still in the ordinary world.
here's your sandwich,
Yeah.
here's your loaf of bread,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then I think the challenge is just jumping from like something I'm so used to doing in current employment, and then just diving into something that's like the absolute unknown. The challenge comes up. It's like, what can I do? Like, like what are the steps here? It's like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
And I think as well, like at the point we're at, there is no written path.
no,
True.
You know, I'd bet you went to 100 different businesses that had just started up. They would tell you 100 different ways about how they
Yeah,
got
it's
off
all,
the ground.
everyone's got different. Yeah, it's true.
It's and
We're,
I think
we're trail dogging it. It's
Yeah.
push passion.
we are. That's a good point, and I think that's another really good reason that we've done this podcast and this video tonight as well, is to show people that, you know, no one comes in here with all the answers.
Yeah.
and what's next? Go on, running.
Next up,
Let's get back into running.
get out for a run.
Mate, I'm going
Hey.
to put that shirt through the App Store when we get those samples. I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to...
It's like those car, the car ads where they put the ute through like every condition. It's,
Yeah.
I'm just imagining you just running through
The
like
highlights,
just
the highlights.
swimming out between the heads, like
Stay tuned for the promo.
walking through fire.
We'll try and get some content of those videos
Definitely.
and put that online and on our Instagram, and so people can follow along with that, because that's really exciting to do as well.
Yeah, good idea.
It's good.
Huzzah. Trail dogs. Have we locked in our trail dog nicknames? I think we have.
I think we have.
You are
Mad Dog.
signing off as the Mad Dog.
Son,
I'm signing off as the Dusty Dog.
the Dusty Dog.
And you are signing off as...
Oh, jeez, what am I? The Wild Dog.
Yeah,
The Wild Dog.
can't forget that one.
I can't.
You are the Wild Dog.
And the cameraman dog over
The
there.
cameraman dog. Cheers, cameraman dog, for the beers.
Beer dog.
Beer
There we
dog.
go. Alright, thanks fellas. Thanks for
That's
that.
us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sign times
Cheers to
next.
that.
Cheers.